and welcome back to my channel. It's more Rissa. So for today's video, I'm going to be making Aporreado, which is one of my favorite, it is my favorite recipe that my suegra always makes. So yeah, I'm going to share the recipe with you. Joe, my sister-in-law, this is for you. Make it for my brother. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so for our first ingredient, we are going to need beef. I just found this stew meat at Walmart. So these chunks are already cut, obviously, but I'm going to actually cut them into some smaller chunks. Next, of course, salt. This is cumin. You can use like ground cumin if you don't want to buy just like regular cumin. 1 onion, 3 Roma tomatoes. I would say like 8 to 10 tomatillos. It just kind of depends on the size. These are medium to small, so I think I have 9 of them in here. 1 clove of garlic, 4 jalapenos, 1 serrano pepper. It just all kind of depends on how much spice you want. If you're not really that big on spice, you can cut this out. You can use more of these. If you want it really spicy, you can use more of these and cut down on these. It's all a preference. And then 8 eggs. Okay, so now that these are all rinsed, I'm just gonna leave them in the sink for right now. So I just turned the stove on to like a medium-high heat, and I'm going to kind of cut up this meat just a little bit smaller into like bite-sized pieces. And the cuts can be rough, they don't have to be perfect cubes or anything like that. Alright, so now that I've got all of this cut up into like biteable pieces, I'm going to put it all in a bowl and give it a little rinse. And now we take this and we put it in our pot. So like I said, I've already turned this on to about 6.5, and I just put some olive oil in there to let that heat up a little bit. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and add my meat into here. So while that is starting to cook, I'm going to slice this onion up. So since this onion is pretty big, I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to use about a chunk that big. If you have a smaller onion, feel free to use the whole thing. It doesn't hurt, it just gives it more flavor. I'm going to go ahead and add this and salt my meat. And then I just go ahead and give it all a quick stir so the onions can kind of just be evenly mixed in with the meat. So next I'm just going to turn my comal on to about 8. I have cranked this up to about 9. So as you can see with this meat, it's very juicy once it starts to cook. You don't want to stir the meat as much as you would, I guess, like regular meat. You want to kind of let it cook and let all of those juices just reduce off and evaporate. So I mix every now and then, but I try not to mix too much. So I have turned my comal up to 8, and I've let that preheat, and I'm just gonna add all of my vegetables. Doesn't matter which way you put them on there, because they're all gonna get flipped and they're all gonna get blackened on both sides. So I just let that sit there for a little bit. And like I said, it's gonna turn black, and then I'm gonna come back and flip them. And the meat is still cooking on 9. There are still lots and lots of juices. This meat does take a long time to cook, so you don't want to like strain the juice or anything like that. You just want to let it cook. This is now starting to reduce. There's not as much juices. So I'm just going to stir this around. Hardly any juices. It's starting to reduce down, and you still want to let it cook even after all of the juices are gone. I might turn the burner down just a tad so that it doesn't get burnt. So basically all of the juices are gone now. I turned it down to about 7. It was at 9, and I'm gonna keep letting that cook. It's not done once the juices are gone. You wanna let it keep cooking. The pieces of meat are gonna get really browned. The vegetables are looking pretty good. I have my blender. I'm gonna just start tossing all of these into the blender. All right, so I have all of my vegetables in the blender. I'm just gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of water. I'm gonna add just a tad bit of salt because you don't wanna add too much because you can't take it out. So I'm gonna add a little, and after it's all blended, I will see if I need any more. Let's do like a pinch and a half. Garlic, toss that in there. Put our top on and start blending. So I let this blend until I think it's ready, and then a couple extra minutes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and taste it, see if it needs anything added to it before I add it to my dish. Actually, I think that's perfect. So I'm gonna leave it, I'm happy with it. So put that off to the side for just a second. We're not gonna use that just yet. Pro tip, clean up your kitchen as you go so you don't have to clean up a huge mess at the end. All right, so I don't know if you can tell, but the meat is cooked all the way. There's no juices in the bottom. The bottom of the pan is all dry. That's the goal for this. You wanna make sure that everything is dry. You don't wanna have any juices, oils, anything like that in the pot. All right, so I'm pretty comfortable with where the meat is at right now. So what I'm gonna do next is go ahead and add the eggs. I'm gonna kind of stir this, make sure all of the meat is coated with a little egg, and then like we did with the meat, we kind of just let it sit and cook. All right, so really quick, I just want to say that no 2 recipes are ever the same. So like I said, this is one of my favorite recipes that my suegra makes. I can almost guarantee that she does not make it exactly like I do. I've kind of just done this recipe off of like remembering what she does. She is a very old-fashioned Mexican mom. She just, you know, adds a little bit of this, a little bit of that, toss a little bit of this in there, throw a little bit of that in there, and boom, it's always so good. So it's hard to kind of get a recipe from her because, you know, it's never the same. She, you know, she tastes it, and then whatever it needs added, she adds that. So my message to you is make this recipe, tweak it however you want, keep making it. With just like with anything, practice makes perfect. And I'm not saying that this is perfect at all. This is even a little bit tweaked from the last time I made it, but that's the only way that you learn, is to make something, go for it, do it, and then tweak it and perfect it. All right, so the egg is basically all cooked now. Again, I'm gonna give it one last little stir, and then add your salsa. All right, so I'm gonna mix this all around. All right, so here is the complete dish. The aporreado, the rice, and some beans. All right, so that's how I cook my aporreado. If you guys make it, please leave a comment down below letting me know how you like it. And until my next video, I love you guys. Bye!